The world is heading toward its ruin. Wars have never ceased throughout human history, as if they were a necessary condition for human existence. Today, there are 200,000 victims, both dead and injured, in Gaza, and nearly 2 million between Ukraine and Russia. A new war has just erupted in Africa between Rwanda and the DRC, while others are inevitably waiting for their turn. Between the two Koreas, between China and Taiwan, between Morocco and Algeria, between X and Y, between America and someone, until we reach the climax or apocalypse in the form of a third world war. Humans have solved many of the universe's mysteries, from the infinitely large to the infinitely small, as well as astonishing technological challenges, but not this one. They do not know how to put an end to the cyclical wars that destroy the progress made in times of peace, setting them back each time after filling their cemeteries and wasting time, infrastructure, and sometimes even territories. Yet the answer is simple. The root cause of all wars since the dawn of time lies in one small phrase carrying a fatal idea. States have no friends, only interests. The wording is modern, but the meaning is as old as the world itself. We continue to see it as the pinnacle of intelligence and patriotism, when in reality, it is the highest peak of stupidity, immorality, and ignorance combined. To grasp the harmfulness of this false principle, a concentration of selfishness and egocentrism, let's replace the word states with humans and see what happens. Humans have no friends, only interests. What would human life have been if all men had adopted this philosophy, this leitmotif, as states do? There would be no humanity, no civilizations, no states, no societies, no tribes, no families, no human history. International, national, social, or family life would never have emerged. We would have remained social animals, each one merely a link in a food chain doomed to extinction when the last strong one devours the last weaker one. This formula has adapted to contemporary geopolitics in the form of new values that could be called Putin's realism, where he does not want any countries at his borders, Trump's mercantile pragmatism, where everything good must belong to him, and Netanyahu's inhumanism, who, not content with occupying Palestinian lands, is preparing to deport their inhabitants. This is where we stand today with political leaders who lack culture, philosophy, and morality. These three men, who are seen in their countries as nationalist patriots, benefactors, and resolute heroes, are set to bring about the worst disasters of the 21st century. They are destroying all the ideals that once inspired the virtuous part of humanity. Through their ignorance and disdain, not only for weak and poor countries, but for any country that lacks nuclear weapons. It is on the altar of the strategy of the strongest that many nations will be torn apart and then swallowed up. Only those with persuasive deterrent capabilities, that is, a well-stocked arsenal of nuclear warheads, will escape. Any country will be able to attack its neighbor, challenge international borders, annex territories, or deport populations. We must prepare for a time when states will no longer respect international law, but will be driven solely by interests and insatiable greed. Imperialism, colonialism, and even the Nazi theory of Lebensraum, living space, are now being surpassed, relegated to the memories of gentler times. The greatest invention of human intelligence is not artificial intelligence or weapons of mass destruction, but moral concepts such as international law, the international community, and the unity of humankind and its future. The way of thinking that could save the world and establish fair rules for all is one inspired by these words from Montesquieu, written more than 2.5 centuries ago. If I knew something useful to me, but harmful to my family, I would reject it from my mind. If I knew something useful to my family, but not to my homeland, I would try to forget it. If I knew something useful to my homeland, but harmful to Europe, or useful to Europe, but harmful to humanity, I would regard it as a crime. Montesquieu, My Thoughts.